Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ville, I'm founder at Leanlab. Together with Harri from Stockmann, we're here to share a smarter way how you can start involving customers in your journey development. Harri, welcome on the stage with me.
Thank you.
So today, when we think about doing customer research, for a lot of us in the room, it means 6 to 8 week cycles. You know the drill. Getting the CRM sample, getting the compliance on board, to talk to customers. Then you start booking the interviews. Then you run the interviews. You transcribe, you analyze. All of this is painful and slow. But that's not even the real problem. The real problem is that it's so slow and painful so that you can only afford doing proper customer research for the bigger journey initiatives. So what about all the other initiatives? Well, we just ship and hope. And this guesswork is costing us, all of us here in the room, millions and millions of euros or kronas every year. Every wrong assumption that we make today then becomes tomorrow's journey debt and customer frustration. So how to bring customers more seamlessly into journey development, how to make better informed decisions together with customers faster. That's what our talk is all about. So let's get started by looking at where are we today with voice of customer programs. Might look a little bit like this. We've invested millions over time in these beautiful systems. There are trigger-based surveys. There is, email feedback systems, CRM integrations. We are locking the call center data. We have created data lakes. There's social sentiment analysis, and lately there's been AI. It's all great. And then with all of this data, we then turn them into these beautiful dashboards. We get quarterly reports, monthly reports. Some of us might even get weekly reports. But here is the brutal truth. All of this data that we are looking at, it's backward looking. It's something that happened yesterday. So we are documenting what already went wrong. So customers struggled, complained, and some left. NPS 38, so what? Card abandonment is up by 10%. Why? What's the solution? So with these dashboards, you're only getting to the symptoms, but you're not getting to the root causes and definitely not to the solutions. So this gets me to the 3 levels of customer understanding. You're probably familiar with the passive monitoring. That's kind of what I went through. So it's the sort of thing, with beautiful dashboards, loads of data, but at the end of the day, it's not very practical. You can't turn those insights into action because you're missing the why and how. Then there's the active listening layer, which is, a level where a lot of us are trying to get to right now. Real dialogue with customers. So what we do, we organize interviews, focus groups, customer workshops. And it's all beautiful because it's helping us to get behind those numbers and start understanding the problems, the issues, the challenges that our customers are having. And some of us are even able to test solutions. But the problem is here that a lot of that research is still relying on that 6 to 8 week timeline. So what happens is that you end up doing research only for the bigger journey initiatives, whereas the 50 other initiatives that you're shipping next year, you ship and hope. And this sort of gets me to the level 3 of customer understanding. And this is continuous digital collaboration. So this really changes everything. At this level, you build your private customer lab. It's an online space where you invite select customers to become your advisors. They're ready to help 24/7. And it has 3 major shifts. First one is the speed. So your questions are getting answered in hours or days rather than weeks. Secondly, there's scale. So you can start working with your customers across more of your journey initiatives, not just the big ones. And then there is engagement. We are getting 10x response rates on these private labs compared to NPS surveys, Why? Because it's a conversation with customers. It's not like investigation. So it changes everything. We are then looking at customers. We're working with them, to work on the solutions, ideating, refining, launching together. So people feel valued and not surveyed. So at this level, you really stop measuring problems and start solving them at speed. And that's exactly the layer that Harri has built at Stockmann. So Harri, over to you to unpack Stockmann's journey so far.
All right, thank you. And thank you for having me here as well. It has been a pleasure to hear the presentations earlier today. I got so many ideas myself already from that I have a lot of notes there, but now I need to focus for a moment to what I promised to share with you guys here today. But yes, as said, my name is Harri. I am based in Helsinki, Finland. I work for a company called Stockmann, which is part of Lindex Group. Stockmann operates in 3 countries, Finland, Estonia, and Latvia. So we have 7 department stores and the online store. And me and my team, I'm the head of CX and Insight. So we work with all markets that we have and all stores and all online stores. So quite interesting to see from the omni-channel point of view as well, how we are doing or how we can develop in certain cases. But all in all, the small team that we have is trying to focus on the most impactful things, and I will share you a little bit about our journey and the reason why we are doing the things the way that we are doing, and some case examples in the end as well about the tool. Stockmann is also an old company. We are turning 164 this year. There is quite a lot of legacy in good ways, so we have a lot of heritage. We have a long history in kind of offering products that haven't been available in the market before, and we have been offering experiences that the customers in our markets haven't experienced before. There are 2 pictures. That's from about 100 years ago from Helsinki. Our store was a bit smaller then, and this is now the flagship that we have, which is close to 60,000 square meters of retail space in the center of Helsinki. When it was built, it was far from the city, and no one believed that people would actually go there to shop because it was so far. Nowadays, if you visit Helsinki, you can kind of see that it's quite nicely located there. But of course, retail has changed quite a lot. So what used to be newness, what used to be wow, is quite a different thing nowadays. And for a company that is 164 years old, it takes quite a lot of cultural change as well. And when we talk about customer centricity and customer experience and involving the customers in the development in different ways, or you having a voice of customer program in the company, it is very much also like a cultural process, that how you are developing the internal culture and making your colleagues as interested in customers' opinion and voice as you and your team are in the moment. We did this kind of a customer centricity assessment a bit more than a year ago, because we of course realized that at Stockmann we talk a lot about the customer. We say that we have a customer-centric strategy, customers in the heart of everything. I kind of think every strategy says that. But we really wanted to understand what it means and how do our internal stakeholders understand these themes. So these are quotes from the interviews from the top management. So yes, they kind of said that yes, the customer's in the heart of everything. But then, as I mentioned, the history is long, so we tend to be quite category focused. And there was these good slides in the orange presentation about, are we looking the world from like a product point of view and looking the customers from the category point of view, or are the categories around the customer? So we definitely have a lot to do in this, but I would say that this kind of assessment helped us to understand where we are at the moment, to understand what it takes to involve the customers in the development. Even though we would have the best tools, but unless we have the culture, it is quite difficult. Our customer promise is to offer a feeling that lasts. We have stopped using NPS for almost 5 years ago as our customer satisfaction metric. We are nowadays using a thing called emotional value index. If you Google that, you find their website. So it's quite a similar logic, but for us, it has been way more actionable. I will soon show you a little bit about the touch points that where we are measuring. But for us, since we say that we want to be customer-centric, and we know that we wouldn't exist nowadays unless we would have our loyal customers, we really want to understand what is the feeling that we are offering to them. And in this, we are using quite a different variety of tools from different kind of measuring and collaboration. But for us, it has been crucial to focus on the satisfaction, not in the satisfaction per se, but the feeling that we are leaving with our customers when they visit Stockmann or shop online or which channel they are using. Voice of customer programs mentioned today as well. We have defined our own. It's not like a static thing, and this is more like a framework that we want to kind of communicate internally. We have several different ways to listen to our customers. So as I said, we are using a lot of different surveys, these kind of automated surveys that, hey, thank you for shopping, thank you for visiting, thank you for calling. We get about 200,000 responses to these surveys in a year. But that's kind of the little bit the passive data, as Ville said it. So it comes in, of course, we look at it, we analyze it in different ways, but it's quite one way that we are getting data in as we are getting from, for example, our loyalty program, My Stockmann. So quite a big part of our turnover comes from our loyal customers. We know quite well who is buying what, and there's a lot to do with that data. But again, we talked about data today already, so it can be a little bit scattered somehow. It can be always not accessible for the people that might need it. So definitely building on this. And then the online community that I will tell you a little bit more about as well. So that's kind of the more qualitative and interactive way for us to collaborate with our customers. So in there, we kind of involve them in various ways to have the little bit more deeper understanding. What do they think and how do they feel about the things that we are asking their opinion on? I still want to highlight in the Voice of Customer theme, including all the tools to get the data in, but the super important thing, of course, is to analyze it together with the stakeholders when possible, and especially to act on it, because I think as inside people or CX people, we have a huge responsibility to use the data that we get from our customers, because we all get a lot of surveys nowadays. And we want to be really grateful for the customers who take the time, the few minutes to answer the survey and not just delete it as we might do for some other surveys. We are definitely on a journey in this customer journey topic. We at the moment are rather good in tracking individual touch points. We have nice commitment in the company, so I don't have to follow every single survey or touch point myself. Each department store is following their own feedback on daily level and reacting if needed. Same with logistics and many other stakeholders. What we have brought to the conversation is the kind of the journey thinking that, for example, we have identified based on the feedback that we are getting and the metrics that we have. That's the so-called after-purchase journey, so meaning that someone makes an order online until they get it, or even if they have to even return it some days. Sometimes it is not going that well every time. And we have seen that that's where the biggest frustration can be seen in, and therefore we have now kind of initiated this kind of internal collaboration that yes, we need all the stakeholders who are part of this quite complex process in the end to kind of come together. So it's not enough that they kind of take care of their own part. We have to look at it as a whole process. So yes, we get a lot of feedback. We have several touch points where we are doing really well, and in some cases, good enough is enough, but we also have quite a good view on the whole experience with Stockmann, that where we really need to improve. And this has helped us a lot in internal discussions on where to invest time and money, what to fix first. And there's a lot to do. Like everyone, there's always a lot to do. You have legacy and so forth, but this has at least helped us to prioritize from the customer point of view as well, that what are the most critical battles that we have to fight. Before handing back to Ville for a moment, I want to share a few things about the online community. So this is a tool that we use very actively. So we have more than 1,000 members in the community. I would say that they are our customers, of course. Maybe there are some competitors there as well. We haven't maybe always double-checked all the details, but I would say that we have a very nice, very active community. I think last year and this year we have published like close to 70 different tasks in the community, and this is handled with quite a small team. At the moment it's me plus one. I'm getting help from Leanlab people as well at the moment. So we are kind of planning and defining what are the methods that we will use. Ville will tell more about those, what is possible there. But of course, we always tie everything that we are doing there to the strategic initiatives or the strategic focus areas that we have. Our customers are really liking it, or the members are really liking it, because of course they quite often get to see something that no other customer knows about yet. So we have been quite open also about certain development areas, and we can see that it kind of pays back, for example, in the activity, how they are answering the surveys or different tasks. The quick and easy ones get easily like a 40% response rate very quickly. So customers really answer when they see that there's a new task in the community, and that has helped us to get really quickly customer voice heard in the questions that we might be pondering with internally. So it's not the traditional process that let's define the target groups and let's start making the interview times or calls or inviting people over, so we can actually get the results in a few days. That usually takes like a few weeks if you do it well. So all in all, I would say that this has been quite easy for us to handle, but internally this has gained also quite a lot of interest. So our stakeholders have seen that, hey, that is not like something that takes a few weeks and makes everything slower, so let's not ask from the customers. They now more say that, could we put this and this and this in Leanlab, and then we of course kind of think about the big picture and what goes out and when, because we don't want to burden the members either with too much content there. But all in all, it has been a really nice success story for us, and it has been developing the culture as well already. So as said, people know about it, and it's one of the tools that we use, but definitely one very agile tool that we are using at the moment. And maybe Ville, you want to now share a little bit more about it.
Yeah, I was just thinking, the point that you were making about the culture, and that's something that I'm getting across from a lot of our customers, that once you have, whether it's Leanlab or another platform, but you have a direct access to customers, it really begins to change the culture. People are able to see that, hey, we can now get feedback very quickly rather than having to fight for budgets, wait 8 weeks, because sprints today, they are 1 week or 2 week sprints. So you need to be hustling every week, not shipping in every 8 weeks. So this is really changing the culture for a lot of companies, including what you just said there. But just to get into the nuts and bolts of the customer lab concept, I think there's a few steps here that are key. First is the community layer, which Harri presented. So you have your customers in one place. It becomes like that collaborative environment where you can ask questions and get really quick feedback. And people really feel that they are part of that journey. They really feel that their input is actually making an impact. So they are part of your kind of extended virtual team, so to say. The second part is the 9 ways to listen and engage. So these are not just surveys or interviews, but these are actually tailor-made 9 different tools for different stages of journey development. We use the double diamond framework to pick these different tools again. So to give you a flavor, when you're in a discovery phase, we have online discussions, we have diaries to kind of open up to themes and understand, the whys behind the numbers and really dig deeper with customers, but done digitally, so it scales beautifully. When you're reaching the concept stage, you are then able to show and iterate concepts. So for example, there is a concept gallery where you can post moving images, still images, whatever images, even short videos to explain, hey, this is what we're working on right now, what do you guys think? And the idea there in the concept gallery is that you post few ideas to really work on the outer remits of what's possible, what design direction could we take. Or there are preference tests where you can show a few different concepts and get really quick feedback. What are people preferring and why? So we're always weaving that qualitative research into it. And once you reach the delivery stage, the shipping stage, then you can throw Figma prototypes in, get prototypes tested, validated really quickly. You can launch beta groups to test your final concepts before you're launching and remove any bugs if it's a digital product or whatnot. So it just increases massively your confidence when you're launching. So think of these toolboxes kind of like your Swiss Army knife for journey research. And the final bit is the real-time dashboard. So everything is made beautifully simple, so no 100-page reports, but just simple real-time results showing you the key analysis. If you have several customer segments, you're able to split the results by different segments, so you're seeing, okay, we got 5 segments, this really is working for the segment 2 and 3, whereas 4 and 5, we are losing them with this idea. So it makes it very, very fast and efficient to make decisions on the go, and that's exactly what Harri and his team achieved. Close to 70 projects, that's averaging about 3 research sprints per month. Who is able to do that in this room? So think about that as a competitive advantage. Then, some might think in this room that, okay, well, we don't have a research team sitting in our team, so we can't do this. And I think this is where the AI becomes handy. So we've been developing an AI research advisor that has all of my collective knowledge put into the system. It has all the system knowledge on the different tools. So what it means is that you're no longer stuck with, okay, how should I ask this question? What method should I pick? How to analyze the results? The AI advisor is helping you all along the way. And I think AI definitely has massive opportunity to democratize, particularly the qualitative research, to make research more accessible for every team and every company. And if you'd like to see the platform or the research advisor, the AI tool, you can visit us on our stand. My colleague Anna is demoing the prototype. But let's go back to Harri. So we got 3 exciting case studies to go through.
Yeah, I will go them through quickly, so then we can have discussions later if we want to. But I just wanted to highlight a few different cases, very different cases that we have been using the Leanlab for. There is some Finnish there as well, so non-Finnish speakers can practice it now for a bit. But of course, omnichannel and digital are the themes where this kind of online community is definitely an easy place to play around with. So this is just an example that we were kind of improving the whole click and collect process. So when someone orders or reserves online and wants to pick them in the store, so we kind of mapped the journey and identified the certain touch points there. But one thing that we already saw was that it was a little bit confusing for customer if they are already paying and then picking up the paid order, or if they are only reserving and they want to come and see it in the store. And because our process on the background was very different. So we were kind of testing different ways to kind of do the reservation or the order, and these kind of basic A/B testings and kind of individual parts of the journey were tested on the go to kind of fine-tune the best possible outcome there. Another one is a very physical context. So when we are doing a lot of development in the stores. We have 7 stores with a lot of space for our brands. So we asked our customers to come in and observe from their point of view, how does the store look like? And in this case, it was the cosmetics department. And as you can see, I took 2 case examples of something that they really liked. And the other picture that they shared was even though these are on sale, they shouldn't look like this. It kind of takes away the feeling that lasts in good context, that what am I finding and buying? So they are sharing for us what they see with pictures and words. And then it's an quite an impactful way to communicate internally that this is what our customers are saying. And as said, we are constantly asking them for feedback about our categories, so they can post us brands, they can post about products that they want to have in our selection, and this is a two-way street, so we ask more questions and we tell them that, okay, actually we have this brand already, so it's like a dialogue that we are having with the customers, and they can see each other's comments as well, so it's a very community way to have the dialogue with the customers about all the categories that we are developing all the time.
Very good. 3 quick questions. What has changed? Speed of collaboration.
Well, like you mentioned, that it used to take quite a while to plan and execute studies, so now we actually just squeeze in the process and validate certain thoughts, so definitely the speed is nowadays a lot better than it used to be.
And what sort of KPIs you're using to argue this in the business? What's the business impact?
Well, that's definitely like the speed of the development in general is way shorter in certain cases. And as said, we also kind of measure that has the customer been heard, for example. And now we have a metric for that as well, and how long or how much it costs to involve the customer. So we are also have seen savings in this and also the cultural benefits.
What about the most surprising thing?
2 things. One is that how excited our colleagues are about this, and especially how excited the customers or the members of the community are, that they stay active and they really want to give their input in our development. So we have been super grateful for the activity that we can see in the community. So that's definitely a positive surprise.
Very good. So I think it's time for us to say thanks. If you'd like to hear more Harri's story at Stockmann, Harri is joining me on a webinar on the 29th of October, so you can register at leanlab.co at our website, or pull your phone out and take the QR code and join us later. Thank you so much.